And this book right here, Chevy GMC Trucks 1967 through 72, How to Build and Modify. This literally is a Bible of telling you exactly what you have to do. And for sure, 10 years ago, but probably 5 years ago, half of that stuff wouldn't be in there. So
Right.
it worked out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, in all fairness, when I first talked with the people at CarTech, that's what they wanted me to do. They wanted me to do 67 to 72 initially. And I told them no, because at that point, this is 2018, I suppose it was. I didn't think I'd be able to find one. I just finished restoring a 67, no, a 72 K10, orange and white, super. I loved that truck.
Yeah.
But I'd already done all the work and I didn't have the photos that I would need to do it and or to write the book. And so I said, no, guys, it's not going to work. But I've been watching the market because of the job I had at the time, watching the market for classic cars. I was watching the prices come up on the square bodies. And I thought, well, geez, why don't we just start with that? I mean, I can probably get one of those for a more reasonable price, which will allow me to have more budget to actually do the stuff to build it, right? So that's how that book came about. After the success of that book, they really wanted me to do another one. And I said, okay, well, maybe we can do 67 to 72, because by that point, I'd met some people, one guy in particular who has a wrecking yard up in the Tri-Cities up in Washington, who had a bunch of these trucks. And he wasn't asking big prices for them because there were a lot of them. And there's when you get out into that part of the country, there are a lot of them because that's, you got a lot of farmland out there and you got a lot of people that were using these trucks. And the value isn't exactly the same proposition, especially for a 3/4 ton. And so I was able to go up there and take a look at the stuff he had, and I found this one. And like you said, it was a 3/4 ton flatbed. It was a factory flatbed, and it wasn't particularly expensive. But what I liked about it was mostly original paint. I mean, it didn't have a bed, right, because it was flatbed, but from the cab forward, everything was pretty much evenly worn. And I thought, okay, that's the look I'm going for, and we'll just start there. So that's how it worked out. And like you said, I mean, being able to go through the process of doing the other one first definitely changed my opinion of what should be in this one.
Yeah. Would you, if you could, or when you were looking, were you trying to find a complete truck, not a flatbed, meaning obviously a bedside truck, and just couldn't? And once you saw the blue and you said, "Hey, this is the patina on this truck is spot on. I'll figure it out. I'll make it work." And honestly, another good segment is, "Hey, this thing doesn't even have a bed. I can show the audience and the reader how to make that happen."
Exactly. So I knew out of the gate with 73 to 87, the one thing I wish that I had done was actually cut down a bed. I got lucky enough to find a factory short bed that was original paint, it was all flat, just needed to be buffed, and it came up and it looked great, right? So I knew that I wanted to do a bed no matter what. So to me, no bed didn't matter because I was going to have to chop it up anyway. This truck, the reason I liked it, not just the fact that it was a 67 and it's this medium blue, which I think is a 67, 68 only option. It's a very, very base model truck. It's only got one sun visor, doesn't have a cigarette lighter, no radio. I mean, it's as base model as you can get, which is like the antithesis of buying a truck today, right? Everything's got leather and cup holders and electric this and power that. And this is so much more fun for me because it's just so different. But I went ahead and picked this one mostly because it wasn't rusty at all. And things up in the Tri-Cities, it's like high desert up there, right? And so the stuff that's out there, it generally ages pretty well. And even up behind the windshield, this thing is nice and solid, which I know in Arizona, you guys probably see that fairly often, but up here in the Pacific Northwest, they tend to all rust in the same places. And in my book, there's pictures of some of the trucks that I went to look at that I just took my camera with me, and trucks that came from the coast where the roof panel is separating from the windshield posts. I mean, some of those trucks were pretty rough. And I didn't want to get into too much of that. I wanted to do the fun stuff. So yeah, the fact that it didn't have a bed didn't bother me because I was going to have to cut one anyway. And that was a learning experience, but I'm sure we'll get to that in a minute.